What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another MLW review with myself, Marie Shadows, and my tag partner, because I really enjoy doing this with him, Dose Evil. How's it going?
What's going on? Let's go win some intergender titles.
We probably should, right? Like, they always have those weird podcast contests on Twitter where it's like vote for your favorite podcast person, but like, yeah. Maybe we should make an intergender one. I don't know.
That's okay. Yeah, absolutely. If not, we can start the category, and then we're it's like us against Vacant. Oh no, Vacant never loses.
Yeah, right. Never loses, but Vacant always gets booked for some odd reason.
Legend.
We are here today to talk about MLW Azteca Lucha of 2025 that happened on May 10th. I know that I'm very behind with the review, but it's totally okay, guys. You'll listen and you'll watch this no matter what. The first opening match was the MLW World Tag Team Championship titles that are held. By the way, I'm gonna butcher almost all these Spanish names. When I was listening to how to actually pronounce it, I was like, please give me easy Spanish, because some of this stuff I was like, what the hell? So our MLW World Tag Team Champions are Los Depredados. I so butchered that. I'm so sorry. Which basically apparently translates to the Predators.
Oh.
And I was like, how do you get the Predators from that, right? Because I'm just here I don't think so. But it could just be pure Mexican Spanish, because Mexican Spanish is different from Puerto Rican and Dominican Spanish, where we might say it a little bit differently, but we could still understand each other. But it might just be pure Mexican Spanish. This team, which is by Magnus and Rugido, which I fucked that up. I know I did. They won it during the CMML MLW crossover in Mexico.
10 days prior, May 1st.
Yes. Which, by the way, if you're a wrestler out there, please stop calling yourself Magnus. I'm getting confused with all the Magnuses that I know in professional wrestling. Choose a different name. Just please choose a different name. They defended the tag team titles against Blue Panther and Dark Panther. We had some arm drags, and then this cool arm drag with using the leg of one of the wrestlers. It wasn't a dragon screw, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. We got some double teams, some spine busters, a cutter by Magnus to Dark Panther. We got a double down, which, by the way, I do not like double downs. Please creatively use double downs, but I do not like double downs in wrestling. We got a tilt-a-whirl, suicide dive, the ref bump, because we always have to have a ref bump.
Okay, can we talk about this ref for a second? Because he was standing up, cowering with his hands an X above his face, with his head tilted away, hiding, with his eyes closed tight like he's a little kid. And he stayed there for 10 seconds. It was really awkward.
I don't know, man. I don't know who's training these referees. We see the weirdest things. I think that the last time that we talked about MLW, there was the young guy that was in the ring, and we were like, what? What is he doing?
He looked like Clay Aiken from American Idol 30 years ago. But this guy wearing these bright red shirts, I don't know. I felt like I was in a semi-chain pizza place. That also might be a what's the Chuck E. Cheese's? It might have been a Chuck E. Cheese's, and
oh my God,
serving, or one of those bowling and pizza places. I don't know. It didn't look like a ref shirt.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So in general, the tag match was kind of clunky, slow. It felt like all four of these guys were getting used to each other, and because they were going by lucha rules, basically 90% of this MLW Azteca Lucha was lucha rules, where there is no rules, even though there is, but there's no rules. I was getting so confused and so annoyed. I was like, what are we doing? You have sometimes in lucha matches that the other tag partner will come in, do a move, stay there for 5 seconds to be like, what do I do next? Leave the ring and then come back and do it again. And I'm just like, oh, this is so clunky. Do you have any thoughts on the first opening of the match?
I thoughts generally. So this is from Cicero, Illinois, which I guess is like, either a sub-city or just outside Chicago. I don't know if the crowd didn't know what they were going for. I mean, this is only half of the card, so there's going to be another YouTube show. It might be tonight after Science Main Event with the second half of the card. But it didn't seem like this crowd came for Lucha. They were sort of either out of it or they didn't really love the Lucha, which you pointed out it was clunky, which for Lucha, this was slow and a little bit awkward. And like, I understand that like some of these wrestlers are like 55 and 60 and 70, but I don't think any of these four guys were. I do want to shout out that Austin Aries, who is a guy that a lot of people have a lot of varying opinions of, but on commentary, he's hysterical. He was just super funny this entire time, and I wish I could remember his lines. But it's worth watching him, or just watching just for like his snide remarks and also his own battles with his hairline and what he does to make his hair look like it covers his forehead. Listen, and I'm not unsympathetic to that. So one guy's that you're right, Magnus. If your name is Magnus, you need to at least be like a giant. You need to be like 6'5", 6'6". And this guy, he's not small, and he's regular size. And then Ruggiero or Ruggito, his face, it was like a kid's werewolf mask. So I guess it means sort of like Red Wolf or blood, like Rouge. I'm guessing this has to do with Rojo or red something. So there must be some idiom. But he was sort of like, I don't know, it looked like a red jackal. And then you have Blue Panther, who actually looks like a wrestler. Blue Panther was a Haas. And then Dark Panther or Dark Panther Jr. And I don't know. This match was weird. It went for a long time. There were a lot of 20 counts. Austin Aries reminded us that they were 20 counts right. And Joe Dombrowski goes, yup. But it ended all of the sudden through shooting. Now, was this the match where the guy did a pop-up nut shot, but he missed the nuts, or is that a different match? Okay,
I think it might be a different match, but it feels like it could have been this one.
so then at the end,
you're right. I have it here in my notes. Low blow by Ruggito. He's the winner. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so he did a pop-up, and afterwards you're saying, oh, it's a low blow. And they showed it in replay, and I watched this twice, Mary. I watched it the day after, or the day we were originally going to record, which was 3 days ago. So I watched it May 3rd and May 23rd or whatever. I didn't see the low blow any time. I saw an elbow go back. I never saw it advance. So they botched the low blow, which is supposed to be the big, and all of a sudden it's over. I'm like, what the hell happened? I mean, the commentator obviously knew it was unscripted. And then there was a speech. So the Predators, I won't try to say the name. They're going, we're the best, we're the champs, we're going to kill you. We have the greatest title reign of all time, 10 days at this point. And then for whatever reason, the losers get a segment to speak. And they're like, we want our return match. We want our it wasn't like a rematch. They kept saying return match, which maybe that's a CML thing. I don't know. And the heels, unlike heels, they go, okay, we'll see you next week. So they book their own return, and then the heels attack the faces from behind with the belts. And again, this was in slow motion. It's not even like they were in the kiddie pool. It's like they were in 4 feet of water attacking each other, and they beat down the faces with the belts and stomps and walked out, to middling boos. But I don't know. This match didn't do it for me, obviously, and it sounds like it didn't do it for you either.
No, I mean, I'm okay. How can I say this? Originally, my brain really wants to say that I'm very picky with watching lucha matches. I have nothing against lucha as a whole. I get it. I get the tradition and everything like that. I totally get the history. But sometimes you have to know your audience, and you have to know what's good to book for the audience. That doesn't get saturated with lucha matches. So like the last time we were talking about lucha stuff, and when MLW was in the correct town in Chicago, the Chicago crowd was hot. This crowd was like, I don't know what I'm watching. So it's sort of like a hit or miss depending on what's like being set up. But yeah, they did ask for their return match over in Arena Mexico. So that match will be over there. So we may or may not be able to get that footage. But yeah, a return match is just basically like, yo, I want a rematch. That's just they're probably their way of doing it. And then it transitions into, I guess, a backstage segment with Mistico saying that he's good from his recovery. I guess he just had to like get physical therapy for whatever was happening with his shoulder, because he didn't have to get like surgery. And then we have like Templairo coming in talking with Mistico, and I'm like, yo, this feels like really good. It feels very hype. Also, we will get to that later on in this, but I do want to mention that Templario did bring out the NJPW Strong Tag Team Championship title with him to the ring, which I was like, interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. So Mistico has been on MLW for a bit. He had an injury that in most other wrestling federations, you probably wouldn't lose the belt unless you're Naomi and you get treated like crap. Past tense, hopefully. But he surrendered the title, his middleweight title, and then proclaimed he was starting to go for a heavyweight title. And right from that moment, you could see Cesar Duran subtly being like, huh, what? I'm not. It's like he's sort of excited about it, but he's a little side-eyed with it. It's like, wait, this isn't what I told you to do. And Mistico still calls him Jefe, and they're still drinking, and and then when Templario comes in, by the way, if you haven't seen Templario, he's really good. Like he's going to be someone in 5 years that you're going to be clamoring to, when he's on AEW, you're going to pretend that you're excited that he's the best wrestler in the world. And by the way, you might be right at that point. Or if he's being, and then when he's being signed by WWE, the AEW fans will say he sucks. He's never that good. And the WWE fans will pretend that he's a giant free agent signing and they always liked him. But the first part will be correct. The second part won't be. But he's really good. He's got a presence. He's got a physical presence. One of those guys that doesn't really need to speak any English to get his thing. So him and Mistico, this is a good little rivalry. And I've only seen these guys like together like 3 times, and I've only seen Templario wrestle, I don't know, maybe half a dozen times. And if I already like this, and this is not my style of wrestling, like if you're an actual wrestling fan, I think you'll really like it. By the way, Mistico is the one guy. He was Sin Cara, and the other 2 guys from Lucha House Party, Kalisto sort of went on to self-destruct, got Samurai Del Rey, got signed by AEW like 3.5 years ago. Seen once, nobody's seen him since. And Lince Dorado apparently is now back in WWE. He signed, I guess, as a trainer secretly, and he's going to be on Evolve this week in a triple threat. But Mistico, he proved his wares. I mean, he bet on himself, and he was right. Anyway, what I want people to pay attention to is Cesar Duran's eyes and his facial expressions and his subtle acting, and let Marie or me or both of us know, or me through Marie, if you saw the same thing. If Cesar is doing a thing where he's going to sort of maybe do a little Paul Heyman, where he's sort of turning on Mistico and sort of falling in love with Templario.
Maybe. I mean, I guess we could like sort of speculate with the whole New Japan stuff and where like Templario is gonna be, and I think that Templario is more like a freelancer as well, even though they gave him one half of the NJPW Strong tag titles. So you never know.
Did he defeat Mercedes Moné for the NJ Strong Women's title?
No, those are 2 different titles.
Oh, that wasn't. Okay. So Moné let a girl beat her?
Yeah.
Who was it? Maxie Impaler at least?
No.
So who beat her? Who'd she actually lay down for?
So she actually did it. It was a triple threat. It was a triple threat with her, Mina, and AZM.
okay. Well, I know Mina because she's a hot lesbian, and I know who AZM is a little bit. So who'd you give? Oh, she had to give it to AZM because that's the one I
Well,
don't know.
basically, Monet was on the outside, and I guess AZM pinned. Oh yeah, AZM pinned Mina to get the NJP the NJ Strong women's title. But going back to Templario, he was in a tag match with TJP. Both of them are in the United Empire. Like I don't know anymore. I really don't. But they took the NJ Strong tag team titles off of Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Jarrell Nelson. They took it off of them. And
Gerard
I was
Nelson,
upset.
isn't he the guy from the Olympus Has Fallen movies?
No, but I think he'll take that as a compliment if he was to ever hear it.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, now I remember Royce Isaacs has been New Japan Strong for a long time. I remember when he was in Filthy Tom's like West Coast Wrecking Crew with the guy who's in Blunt Force Trauma, Fred Rosser, and Alex Coughlin. Is that his name?
Alex Coughlin, yeah, back then, yeah, man. Yeah. Good times.
Are those guys still there?
Well, Alex Coughlin unfortunately had to retire due to the first ever dog pound cage match that had Bullet Club War Dogs versus United Empire when Will Ospreay was out. That match was so brutal that it ended his career. So I hope he's still doing good, but he's not wrestling at the moment. Royce Isaacs is one of the best. I don't know why he doesn't get booked more as a tag team wrestler and a singles competitor. Fred Rosser is still training people at the academy, shows up on New Japan Strong every once in a while. I need Fred Rosser to be in the G1. And then obviously Lawler is still with MLW. He's cool to hang around with.
Right. Well, you should get him to be on the show, and then you can come on the show again. Not that you can come on the show anytime you like. So after Mina lost, did she kiss AZM and shake her boobies?
I have no idea. She probably shook her boobs anyway, but I don't know, dude.
All right, well then I didn't miss anything. All right, well back to MLW/CMLL.
Yeah. After Templario and Mistico have exchange of words in Spanish, which sounded so cool. It just makes you get hype. After that, we had Alex Hammerstone versus Kojima. This one I want a rematch because I know how good both of these guys can be. I felt like this match wasn't as good as it should have been just because I was able to see a lot of stuff, and this is why sometimes I can't shut off my brain if I'm writing notes. But other than that, it's two big guys going after each other. Alex Hammerstone is still one of the best guys that I've seen in the ring. Kojima, legend in Japanese wrestling and also in MLW. He's amazing. By the way, he followed me on Twitter. I didn't even tag him. He saw he saw the graphic I made and when we were gonna originally do the review for MLW. So he just followed me back, and I was marking out. I was like, oh my god, Kojima followed me.
Kojima, what up?
But yeah, it's gonna be kind of fun when I see everybody in June. But we had slow offense, obviously, by Alex. Alex was taking most of the offense in this match. Kojima wasn't really getting much in, and I was like, oh man, Kojima could be doing a lot more stuff. Alex Hammerstone came in with that beautiful drop kick that somehow the camera people captured it in real time, and it looks fantastic. We get some cozy cutters, lariats, but unfortunately with the pendulum as Alex Hammerstone's finisher, he ends up winning the match against Kojima.
Alexander Hammerstone is so big and so dense at the same time. I when he hits the ring, so that missile drop kick of his, double drop kick, and when he hit it, I mean, it's slow but explosive at the same time. And he's so big and he's so dense that when he hits the ring, it's like a 500-pounder hit the ring. And he's he trains for competitive bodybuilding, in between wrestling. I don't know how the timing works out, but so when he spreads parts of his, his arms and stuff, he actually gets bigger. Because he's got the the spreading lats and things like that, because he trains his muscles to bulge.
Mhm.
So it's really weird, and it's interesting. Now, I think a lot of people who are like wrestling purists probably gonna say he's too big and he's too bulky and too slow. I think it's impressive, the way he is and the way he moves. I'm not sure if this combination was great, because Kojima also thick, but he's also like 53 or 54. So of
Yeah.
course he's going to move more slowly. And this is not criticism. I'm 56 and a half, and I couldn't move like he did at 36 and a half. And probably not at 26 and a half either. It's certainly not in a wrestling ring. I just mean, normal moving. But I don't know. I mean, I'd want to see them again, but like only after, if I knew Kojima, like this felt like he got off the plane like maybe a day earlier, 12 hours earlier, was still stiff and didn't get enough time to stretch and be in the sauna and the ice bath and whatever. I'd like to give him a good 3 days to rest and recover and loosen up and see it again. I'm sure we will see it again. Well, we'll get into that a little bit, but it's always good to see Hammerstone. It's always good to see
Mhm.
two true heavyweights, have a big, big men fighting. And Kojima's one of those hybrids of, he's like the old fashioned, knows all the moves wrestler, but he's also a big guy, and he's big and especially for like a Japanese guy. He's like big, he's tall and thick he's like 6'1", 240, whatever.
Mhm.
So you get the Nakamura Okada type, or you get sort of the Ishii type. Uh,
Yeah.
there's not a lot like Kojima.
I mean, the one that might come close is like Tanahashi and Shingo, built on body size and that. But Shingo can move. Tanahashi, as much as I love the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, he can't move as well.
No, yeah, his knee's a shot. No, I'm thinking Mr. Saito from back in the day.
Uh, um, aside from that match, we thought we were gonna have a match, but we had Azteca 13, which what happened to 1 through 12, um goes out to the ring, and I was like, oh, we're gonna have a squash match. And then all of a sudden Myron Reed comes back, and declares that, well, he hits the cutter first and then takes the mic, and he's like, he's back with MLW, which is cool, because I did enjoy watching Myron Reed when he was there. But the crowd just went quiet. I was like, oh God, that's so horrible.
If this was 3 years ago, an MLW crowd probably would have popped for him. But it's been I mean, no disrespect to Myron Reed. Myron Reed is a friend of a friend. I mean, Phil Marks from
Yeah.
they know each other personally. I think so anyway.
Oh.
But Myron Reed and Jordan Oliver were a big deal in MLW.
Mhm.
Something happened with Jordan Oliver. I don't remember what. And then Myron Reed left 7 or 8 months later. I don't know, on TV time. I don't know what it was in real time. But when he left, he didn't really set the world on fire. I mean, they had careers. I know that they're still wrestling and still exist. I know that Myron Reed's married to Killer Kelly. They had a baby and all that. But it's not like he was going on the big leagues or whatever and made a bigger star of himself. So he's sort of forgotten. And the young goat thing, weird, because how do you call yourself the young goat if he's not that young anymore. But listen, he was a stalwart of MLW. An infusion of young talent is good. They've been a little reliant on older guys and a lot of foreign older guys, which is sort of a double tough thing in American wrestling. So it's good to see. I have a question though. Was this match after the scene with the Don Gato tequila commercial?
No, not in my notes.
Okay, I'm wondering if it was.
This happened after the Hammerstone match.
Okay. All right, so I can't remember if it was what's his name as Azteca 13.
Yeah,
I can't remember if Azteca 13 was the one who also took a swig of tequila.
He probably did.
Okay. All right. Well, whatever it was, I want to spend some time on the Don Gato tequila commercial because that was my favorite part of the show, which is probably not the greatest thing to say, but that was fantastic. But I think Azteca 13 might have been drunk when he came out. But what happened to 1 through 12? Listen, you know that the 1 through 12 are always protected, like the Zodiac, like the Apostles, like the months, and the 13th is always sort of the sacrifice, like Jesus. So Azteca 13, Jesus.
That is clever. That is clever. I was going along with everything. I was like, oh, this makes sense. Oh, that's clever, dude. That's clever.
So reason 13 is a bad luck number.
That is true. And in Italy, they do not have the number 13 there at all. So like if you go into an elevator, you skip the 13th floor.
Yeah, they say it's because of bad luck, but it's not. It's because that's the secret number of God, and you're not supposed to be able to even see it. See, the sun sets. The sun is 13, anyway. This is more garden of thought. This is not Marie Shadow's.
I'm sorry, I was going along with that. I was like, oh shit, wait a minute.
I know. I'm hijacking your show with my esoteric bullshit.
It's all good. So the next one, I guess match after this one was another luchador match that had okay, so it is. I have Guerrero. It's Guerrero Senior. It's Ultimo Guerrero on this one.
Ultimo Guerrero, the Ultimate Warrior, right? He looks great.
I have Maya in here as well, unless that's somebody else. Hechicero versus Esfinge and Atlantis. I know I probably wrote this wrong. It's because of how they came out, okay? Like, I feel like there was no direction on this one because I was like, my notes are all like scattered and shit. So I believe it was, it's a tag match, yeah. Oh, it was Guerrero with Hechicero versus Esfinge and Atlantis.
No, it was a fatal four-way for the MLW Openweight title, who Ultimo Guerrero and his mullet have it. You probably thought that him and his mullet were
there we go. Yeah, I have it as a tag team rather than a fatal four-way. But go ahead.
Is every man for so this is Atlantis, not Atlantis Junior. So you have one old man in here. Well, two, because Ultimo Guerrero, who's actually not the Ultimate Warrior, there's no trademark infringement because it's a different country. And at least normally. So
wait a minute. Okay, hold on. So I think we're getting confused because down further there was a triple threat match with Ultimo Guerrero in it, Zandokan Jr. and Barbaro.
Okay.
For that championship title.
Okay, so this match didn't have Ultimo Guerrero in it. Then
it had a Guerrero.
There's always a Guerrero. So yeah, we have Atlantis. We have Esfinge, the Sphinx, Hechicero, which is like the sorcerer,
and then another Guerrero Maya Senior. That's what I have.
Oh my goodness! I didn't know who that was. I don't remember much. Obviously, I don't remember much about this match except that Ultimo Guerrero retained his belt, and that the man is like. You know those like floor safes that used to fall on cartoon characters?
Yeah.
That's what he looks like, a human floor safe with like a...
God. I can see that. They're all stocky built, man. They're all stocky. You just drop it. We're so bad.
Yeah, they really... I mean, these are not like the Phoenix Mysterio type of luchadors, Aerostar, Drago. These guys are fire plugs. I don't know. It's interesting. The reliance on older guys has to be a problem for CMLL.
Yeah.
And I get that they're like heroes and superheroes in Mexico. But like you said, they were in the wrong arena in Chicago.
Yeah. I do want to mention though that Esfinge needs to get away from tag team matches and lucha matches and like just shine on his own because he has a very great presence about him, not only in like body stature, but in like the gear that he comes out with, the mask that he wears during the when he wrestles, and then even his moveset. I'm like, you got to get away from tag matches, man. You just got to shine on your own. And I hope that eventually MLW does give him that space to shine. Put him in a program with Templairo. Put him in a program with Mistico if he doesn't in the future need surgery for whatever's going on with his shoulder. Like put Esfinge as like one of the main guys for us to follow because these tag matches, man.
Remember a couple of years ago when they first brought in the Azteca Underground thing, and it really seemed like maybe they were going to try to do like a Lucha Underground thing within MLW, and I guess they got sidetracked by the lawsuit and whatever.
Yeah.
But if they actually brought that back and tried to do it, doesn't have to be as cartoony or pulpy as Lucha Underground, but if you actually did an all Lucha promotion, or mostly Lucha promotion, because Lucha Underground wasn't, but people who are familiar with Lucha style and those kinds of characters, the guys like the Sphinx and Templario, and even Atlantis, the Sorcerer, they'd be great for it. And I think it would be a ton of fun. And you could have these other titles. And what's the largest minority group in the United States? Latinos. And not that they're all wrestling fans, and not that they all like lucha style. I mean, I'm sure plenty of people of Latino background in the United States, like WWE and Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, or whatever. But I don't know. I think it's worth a try. I mean, to be a successful secondary or tertiary promotion, you don't need to sell out 20,000 seat arenas. If you get like 1,100 or to 2,700, that you can have a pretty healthy business model. So I think that could be fun. And if you guys are listening out there, and we know you are, I don't know, maybe consider that. But I think you're right. The Sphinx, big guy. I mean, he looks like 6'2", 260. I mean, that's a big guy, and I think that he could develop sort of a following, sort of like the way the Beast Mordos has developed a following.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they're probably listening. I'll probably say some stuff to them because I really do want Esfinge to shine if he's going to be like a reoccurring person on MLW because man, tag matches. After that, we have our favorite people, the Rogue Horsemen, in their little mini segment where BRG. Yeah, I was like, let me not fuck up his name. BRG was like, we want War Chamber. Like this dude, man. I sometimes feel bad for him because I'm like, he's getting the short end of the stick for everything, while like everybody else in Rogue Horsemen are all like, hey, we're all good, man. Like, what's up with you? But so we're gonna get them. We're gonna get Rogue Horsemen versus Bumaye in War Chamber.
Yeah, and BRG is clearly steering this thing, and there was definitely a schism between the older horsemen and the younger horsemen. CJ Anderson and Bobby Fish were really trying to warn them, like, you don't know what this takes out of you with this kind of match. This leaves marks. This leaves scars. We don't need to do this. And then also Brock Anderson comes in, who, by the way, has a really Southern accent.
He does.
Didn't he grow up like in Ohio?
I have no idea. I didn't ask him that when I was like talking with him in CW and like marking out to them. So no, but he does have a very Southern accent. He's a very good boy. But yeah, I don't know if he grew up in Ohio.
So he's like,
I should ask him next time.
Okay, so when I looked up the Arn Anderson's Four Horsemen trademark application, I think it was a Toledo, Ohio address. That doesn't mean he lived there his entire life. Anyway, so basically Brock Anderson, and I'm going to butcher this on purpose for comedic effect, he goes, hey guys, I don't care where we fight them. We can fight them in a cornfield or a basketball court or in war games or war chamber. I don't care. I'm tired of these guys. They keep bothering us and getting us. I mean, isn't it the Rogue Horseman that's been jumping, the faces all together? I mean, it's not like Bumaye, Paul London, and Matthew Justice are natural allies. But then they've bothered, so let's get them. And the other guys are like, all right, Horseman, fingers in, and they all reluctantly put their fingers in, and they're going to do War Chamber. By the way, how come Walter, Paul Hauser, Danhausen, Jingleheimer Schmidt isn't in this match?
I don't know, man. I don't know. He might be making a movie or a series because he does have like his own company.
Yeah, since he blocked me, I become a big fan of his, and we watched the Progress show for Wrestling Soup, And Paul Walter Hauser, see, I know how to say his name, is a Progress World Champion.
I found that out, but I was scrolling. I didn't stay too long on that. I was like, what?
I mean, when you want him on your team, I mean, this is a world champion in Progress, which is a progressive company. I mean, I don't know. I mean, not that the other guys aren't fine, but like, Paul London's a little long in the tooth. I don't know. I'm a little bit worried for my friend Mr. Thomas, for his health, because I care about him, and I know he doesn't like to bleed because he's very beautiful, and.
Yeah.
And I know Boumaye is for the people, and then Alex Kane has cool 70s clothes and berets and stuff. But yeah, the challenge is afoot. Spoiler, they already taped it, so I know Thomas is still alive.
Yeah. I mean, he should be.
Well, he blew the spoiler on the show that I published today that we recorded last Monday with Kaya McKenna on A Gospel of Thomas on the Wrestling Soup Network, or the Garden of Thought feed. G-plug, Kaya McKenna, a very nice, a nice little witch.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, I watch I watch War Chamber, and I guess we can talk about it and spill the beans on that too. But yeah, I like these two groups. So then now we get into that triple threat that I was talking about that had Ultimo Guerrero being the national openweight champion who won it off of Matthew Justice over in the CMML and MLW joint event, taking on Barbario Caveman and Zandokan Jr., which I'm like, oh crap, I haven't seen you in years. And then you just pop up. This was a fast-paced triple threat. Caveman over here does good work. Zandokan Jr., he's also interesting. Ultimo Guerrero, please stop throwing your jacket at people. Like, I don't even like that. Like, to me, that I'm gonna probably beat the shit out of you just because it's like, what the fuck. But yeah, we get I don't know. I have open hand slaps, a twisting slam. We have Zandokan kick out. There's a lot of false finishes in this one. But I was happy that at least this lucha match was like fast paced and it was like, this is what lucha is.
I love the characters that they allow in CMLL. I mean, not that a barbarian caveman is a gimmick that necessarily could or should work or is necessarily particularly edgy, but one of the most homogenized things about American wrestling / Canadian wrestling, whatever, is that the characters are like, I'm a jock. I'm a mean jock. I'm the best in the world. No, I'm the best in the world. I'm a good guy. I mean, that's sort of it. I want a title. I want that's it. I mean, there's no, they're all within the spectrum of a certain kind of character. And then if there's like an Aleister Black or a Wyatt, half the group out there is like, we hate spooky stuff. It's so cartoony. It's like, yeah, in CMLL, they're like, now we're going to have a Templar, we're going to have a Sorcerer, we're going to have a Sphinx, and we're going to have a freaking caveman if we want one. So, like, if WWE did the barbarian caveman, they go, that's racist. Shut up. It's okay. We were all cavemen. I mean, anyway. So this guy, he has a bone in his hair, like Wilma
Flintstones. Yeah,
it's fantastic. Okay, now you're wondering why I'm not saying much about the match. I don't remember.
It's okay.
Ultimo Guerrero was in another match, so I mean, I did watch this twice. I knew Ultimo Guerrero was gonna retain, and he did. As you said, Zandokan. It's been like 6 or 7 years since I can remember seeing him, and even then, it was like a smattering. And cavemen aren't there to win titles, so they're insurance for Geico.
Yeah. Wow. After the match, Hammerstone comes out and he wants a match. Ends up attacking Guerrero post interview for that belt. This is when the crowd came alive, when they were like boo, and I was like, oh, you guys are finally awake.
Because this was an American heel. He draped himself in the American flag. He's like, I'm gonna beat the. We didn't say it, but basically, it was basically a America First kind of thing. Hammerstone turned heel. He's draped, in America, almost doing like a Bret Hart with Canada kind of thing. And in America, he's a face, but he's going to be a heel in Mexico. but he's trying to be a heel here. But I don't know. This is America, so 50.4%. At least was for this role. Who knows what it is now? But in wrestling, it's probably still 51%. So. Anyway, I'm all for Hammerstone reclaiming the title that, as he points out, he never lost.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm going to say, I've said many times, I cannot take somebody seriously with a mullet. You're not supposed to take Dominic Mysterio serious. And I know Ultimo Guerrero is 98 years old and he deserves respect, but that hair, my God.
I mean, what, you really don't take Dom Mysterio seriously?
I do not.
Because of the mullet?
It's not just the mullet, but the mullet doesn't help anything. The mustache, everything, his little skinny arms, the whole. I don't even watch Raw. It's not because of Dominic Mysterio, but it's like everyone knows I'm a sizist, and and I know we're not supposed to take him seriously that way. And I don't know how much gas that thing has, but it's too. That act has too much gas for my taste. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, if he eats other things other than like chicken tendies, I think I'll be like, yo, you'll be better off. But that's just me. Back to, oh, go ahead.
I didn't say anything. You're
okay.
Your connection spot.
Oh, okay. So back to MLW. June 7th is when War Chamber is going to be shown. That's what I have in my notes.
Oh wait, that's really cool. So that's the day that AAA, now WWE versus AAA. It was NXT versus AAA.
Yeah,
going to be on 3:00 in the afternoon on YouTube, so you can watch some North American. Well, it's all North America. American promotion versus Mexican promotion wrestling in the afternoon, and then you can watch some at night as well. What a perfect day.
Yeah. After that little thing of like June 7th is War Chamber, we have the MLW World Championship title match before the middleweight championship title match. So for the World Championship title match, it's Matt Riddle versus Dijak. Now, I love watching Matt Riddle wrestle. He's great. I love watching Dijak wrestle. I love the story that they were telling inside the ring, where both of these big men are doing big man things, and also wrestling and entertaining the crowd and getting false finishes. To which we have Matt Riddle retaining the World Championship title. Do you have any thoughts about it?
Pregunta para te.
You have a question. Okay, yeah. What question you have?
Do you think they changed the order of the matches because they heard Hammerstone get over and they're like, we need to put some regular wrestling for this, United States, Illinois crowd on to keep them hot? Or do you think I'm just making that up?
I think you might be making it up. Are you thinking that because first of all, the World Heavyweight Championship match is like before like the main event, which is kind of weird. Right. I mean,
I'm thinking they might have switched it for. Then again, but Mistico might be the headliner.
That's true.
He is considered the best wrestler. So I don't know. The only reason I thought it is because I just felt like this was like they were a half step off kilter. It didn't feel exactly natural. Now, it could be the YouTube, but I blame the sound. Like I blame the crowd first on YouTube hearing it all. But I don't know. Anyway, I thought the match was fine. This was a fine, television match. Monday Night Raw match. Whatever. They work okay together. At some point, Cruel came in, and it looked like he was trying to cash in his Money in the Bank type briefcase that he had, and he ended up getting into it with Dijak, which distracted Dijak, of course, and then Riddle put him in the sleeper, and Dijak had to tap out. Unlike Gunther, he didn't tap out in 2 seconds, so that was good. A good ending. It protects Dijak,
it does.
6'7" guy from Riddle, who's probably 5'11" and 202, where Dijak is 272. and Dijak is now going after Cruel. So they have some big guys there. They've got Cruel, they got Thomas, they got Dijak, they got I think Tom Paystack, Bishop Dyer, whatever he's going by, is still there. Somewhere in there, Baba Tunde or Baba Thunder, and the only reason I think he's still there is because your friend and my new friend Akira Kwon, when he tagged Contra, included Baba Thunder in that.
Probably.
Sad news though. Janai Kai, she's gone. She's a free agent. Well, that doesn't mean she's gone, but she's a free agent. So I mean, not that you can't be a free agent and territories, but we might have seen the last of Janai Kai, but maybe that'll mean more Tara Zap.
Probably, yeah. I would really like. I know we've said this many times, and our listeners have heard us many times about MLW expanding the women's division just a little bit more, and give them a little bit more time and give us like new faces for that division. Like I would love to just see it expand just a little bit more and get it incorporated somehow with like everything they have going on with like Lucha, regular MLW, and like the women's division, sort of like mix and match everything. Because I think in order to maximize the amount of space and time, some of the women could just be like, I don't want to put them in manager roles to other wrestlers, but like we could do mixed tag matches that end up becoming that, like I just want something fresh for everybody there.
I think I don't know if you're familiar with the wrestler Kid Bandit, but I think she would fit in very well with Contra.
I know Kid Bandit.
Yeah,
I know.
Got those. She's got that same kind of roundhouse kick kind of thing going on. I don't know. I agree. It would be nice, but then again, I mean, one of the things that an insider said is that there's very little strife in the MLW locker room because it's basically only one gender, and you don't get the NXT Love Island kind of drama in MLW.
I mean, it's all good. I mean, whenever I go there, I'm in work mode, so I don't really like, I'm in work mode. I don't care.
So when they go, Mamacita, you're like, I'm working, dude.
That actually did not happen to me at all. So
really?
I was good. Everybody was doing their own thing. I just made sure that if they needed like water or whatever, like I'll go get them water and stuff like that. But I was running around everywhere. So like,
what about Ultimo Guerrero? Did Ultimo Guerrero come up to you and say, "Hey, you liking my hair?"
No. I did go up to Jose Rodriguez, Alberto Del Rio's ring announcer, and talk to him for a bit. And like, we became like friends or whatever. And then I chatted with Cesar Durant before you had him, all because he was waiting for something, a package. And I was like, yo, I'll go see if it's out there. But it got to him in time. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll help you out with that. But yeah, I just go around, talk to people and like make sure they're good. And if I can help out, I can help out. But I don't really think about gender or whatever. I'm like, I'm working. That's all I do.
Fair enough. Hey, listen, I'm just repeating what I heard, from one person's opinion. So that's all. I too would like to see. I mean, there's a lot of really good and fun women's wrestling out there, and they have 6 to 8 people who on their quote unquote roster, that'd be fine. Make up tag team champions or whatever. It doesn't matter. Don't even say they're MLW champions. Say they're visiting from whatever Revelation Pro Wrestling. It doesn't even need to be a real organization. I mean, it's. I remember that time Hikaru Shida came up with that black championship. They said she was from Wrestling Pure in Japan. I'm not sure that place even exists.
That is true. We could go back to the days of just making stuff up just for the hell of it.
Sure. I mean, Ric
but
Flair
then again,
has 127 title reigns.
Yeah, I'll believe it. There's no way we're gonna do the math. If we do the math, it's gonna be Steiner math to get to 127 titles.
Yep.
But I will say this though, that like, not every venue, even though like I've only known a couple of venues, but like not every venue is made the same way for like locker room area for like wrestlers. So like in the Melrose Ballroom, the locker room area is sort of like small. So like people are like on top of each other, and they try to find other places to like change or whatever, or they go change out into like the patio area. And I was like, oh my God, it's so small in here.
Yeah, it's a ballroom. It's not a sports venue.
Yeah. Um, but it is one of like the best places to be and have fun. So if you guys, I'll do this plug right now. MLW returns to the Melrose Ballroom June 26th for Summer of the Beast. We have our well, it should be our main event already set, where it's Kenta versus Matt Riddle for that MLW World Heavyweight Championship title. So I'm excited for that because I love Kenta. Sorry, Matt, but I'm a Kenta fan. He got me into pro wrestling, Noah. So Kenta's gonna be there. The Melrose Ballroom tickets start like at $19. Don't miss out. It's like one of the best experiences to have with like everybody else from New York City. And we're not bad people. We just wear our heart on our sleeve.
Where is the Melrose Ballroom? Is it Queens, Brooklyn?
It's in Queens.
Queens.
It's in Queens. Yeah. Yeah.
There is an off chance that maybe we'll come up for that. My parents' summer in New York, and my brother lives in New York. I wonder if I can get any of them to go there. Probably not, but maybe I can get some of my old podcast people, Pena, Jackson, my old Hammerlock Hangover group. You never know. So maybe we'll make an appearance. Maybe I can get, well, for $19, I shouldn't be asking for comp tickets, but I mean, come on. Like, listen, ever since we started doing this, MLW's selling out, venues left and right.
Yeah, upgrading.
Buzz. I mean, could it be their hard work? Could it be, the CML stuff? Could it be Mistico? It could be, but it could also be you and I.
It could. It's all of us, man. I always treat wrestling as a team effort rather than just an I thing.
Just saying that the Garden of Thought Rub is undefeated. MLW is doing great. NWA is doing great. We have Tiffany Nieves on. She wins the NWA World's Women's Championship. I mean, we had Big Trouble Ben Bishop on. All of a sudden, he's getting booked. He was unbookable before. We had Vinny Pacifico on. He's getting movie roles. I mean, I'm just telling you, I'm good luck for everyone except me.
I mean, come on, you're friends with Mr. Thomas.
It's true. He is my best friend.
Yeah.
And my wife is smoking. So I got
so you win anyway.
I do, but I'm not living on Mount Olympus, so.
I mean, it'll be nice. So our main event, which I'm definitely going to put over my buddy Kwon. See, I fucked up his first name.
Yeah, Kwon, whatever his name is.
Kwon. So it was Kwon versus Templairo versus Mistico, because Kwon not so long ago decided to red mist Mistico in the face, take the belt, take it home with him, and be a menace with it. But then Mistico ends up holding the belt anyway. Wait. Did he come out with the belt? I don't remember. No, he didn't, because
Kwon still had the belt.
Yeah, Kwon still had the belt. I forgot exactly what happened. But this was a fantastic match. I was surprised that this was the main event. And to me it's sort of important, because then that means that MLW has, faith in Kwon to go forward in this, and maybe we'll end up getting a new champion. We should get a new champion. But that's just my wishful thinking. We get Kwon, unfortunately, gets a double super kick by Templairo and Mistico. And then Templairo and Mistico do their thing. They get a spotlight. Then we have Mistico versus Kwon, and then Kwon takes on Templairo. They all it's a triple threat. So they all they all get the shit in without getting their shit in the indie style that I've been complaining about for the past couple of live streams. We got some suplex, some power slams, a textbook suplex. So really cool back and forth until we get this underhook. I wrote it down here. Underhook, senton, and that's how Mistico ends up winning and getting the pin on Kwon. And Templario doesn't really get any pin. First, thoughts on the match?
This was the best match on the card. So anybody, if you're not, if you're not excited after our review, or you don't like the style of wrestling, or you just want to check out one match from this card, this is the one to watch. This was the hardest hitting. This was the fastest pace. This is the one that looked like they were in sync. Everyone knew their role. Mistico's really good, and he's coming off an injury, so he's not even at his best. You could tell, like, where he normally has a six-pack. Like when Sheamus came back first, like his six-pack was gone. So Mistico's only going to get better. Templairo is great. Kwon was great. They all did their thing. Oh my God, we forgot to talk about the Don Gatto commercial. At some point, we see Selena De Laurenta come in the back and say something to her dad, Cesar Duran, and something about there's trouble in the back. And it was Don Gatto like delivered a gift basket of free tequila. And so because there's trouble, Caesar starts chugging it straight from the bottle. And Selena goes, "You're a grandfather now. Stop that." And then she starts chugging it, and he's like, "You're breastfeeding. You need to stay." And then they both run out, and then I think it's Azteca 13 lifts up his mask and he starts chugging it as he takes so because the other Sentai Death Squad or Azteca goon, like Secret Service, one was Caesar and Selena, but the one guy hung back and took a few chugs and swigs and then joined. Anyway, Kwon lost the title. He didn't really win. Mistico reclaims the title that he never really lost, but then indicated he wasn't going forward again. So I'm a little confused about that. And I guess Templairo will say, "You never beat me one by one. In fact, you didn't pin me." So that's typical wrestling 101. So that's probably what's coming. But Kwon does the beatdown. I will say this: that in one of the early matches, I believe it was Blue Panther whose mask got torn off, and in this match, Kwon took Mistico's mask off, which of course in Lucha is you're not supposed to. It's the biggest disrespect ever. It's more impactful when Kwon does it because he's not a Mexican wrestler, so it's double disrespect. However, to do the same thing twice on one show and probably on half of one live show, that's a little Vince McMahon-y, Tony Khan-ish.
Yeah, I just see it as like sometimes when the CMML guys wrestle on like American Story and American promotions, they always have to have that spot no matter what. So if someone else is gonna do it sometime later in the night, they're just like, "Fuck it, we're gonna do it anyway," kind of deal, just because. And I'm like, I didn't really think about that until you like brought it up that we had like two. I'm gonna take your mask. But I do feel that when Kwon did it to.
Do you think Kwon's going to hold the mask like he was holding the title? Like he lost the title. He's not holding that hostage. He'll hold Mistico's mask hostage to keep these guys in a three-way dance, or
probably. I mean, why not? Right? It's his trophy now. That's something that he could keep. It's something that he could keep rather than like trying to take the title, even though like he's stealing the title in a sense. But I do think that it was a lot more powerful when Kwon did it to take the mask off of Mistico, because Kwon really wants like the championship title. He wants to be in that spotlight. It's his time to shine. With Contra trying to like reform into being a badass stable again, now he has that room to shine. Because like Suzuki didn't get into it. Matt Kruger is dealing with trying to maybe get the title off of Matt Riddle. So now Kwon has that space to show people exactly who he is. If he still wants to use the concrete dragon as part of that, which I think he should. But yeah, just to do that, it felt a lot more powerful versus the first one where like Blue Panther's mask got taken off. Like, woohoo.
He's got to teach him that concrete dragon can in fact fly. Yeah, I think the Blue Panther mask was almost like automatic or an accident or an afterthought, and then they didn't make a big deal of it, so that was probably an okay save. Yeah, Kwon's was much more impactful and was obviously much more integral to the storyline. I think he will hold the mask as hostage. Obviously, no luchador has one mask, so I mean it won't be a big issue. I think it'll be funny if Kwon wears the mask but still has his long beard and pretends that he's Mistico.
He could do that too.
And says, steel title. I'm Mistico, the mask.
He could definitely do that too. That'd be pretty interesting to see how everything unfolds. I just like the fact that MLW allows the wrestlers to like let the storylines sort of flow where they may, and how the fans like respond to it. And um, you know, on Twitter, there's always a discussion of like, why do we always talk about like ticket sales and all this kind of stuff? And it's like, well, people are going to MLW shows at like smaller, intimate venues because they like, connect with the wrestlers and connect with the stories. And I could tell you from experience that like the meet and greets are like fantastic. Like fans really want that experience, rather than like, just being online. Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Absolutely. It's interesting, and this is not directly related, but sort of is. I've spoken to a few MLW people, one with you, and they all mention, and I see it on Twitter where people post that MLW has a working relationship with AEW. I haven't seen any evidence of that. What is the?
No.
I mean, I know they both
No.
work with CMLL, but like, what is there anything with AEW? Is it just like the transit of property that AEW allows CML to still work with them?
I honestly don't know, but I do think that in the world of business, there are different contracts. So like obviously AEW and CMML will have a different contract because before that like contract got finalized, it was first MLW and CMML, and that's always been like the thing. But I do think that there's two different contracts, two different legal wordings in the contracts between what AEW has and what MLW has. I have seen nothing of like AEW wrestlers or like AEW adjacent come to MLW or talk about it or on their socials. That's why we only get like a selected few of like MLW. I'm sorry, CMML guys to MLW. The same way that like New Japan has their partnership with CMML and they do the like Phantasma events, you get selected guys because you could pick from the full pool, but there's no working relationship between like AEW and MLW to my knowledge before anybody out there tries to like, be a smartass with me. And then I guess they're still working with New Japan Pro Wrestling in some extent because you have Templario and you have TJP, even though TJP is a freelancer. Templario is probably a freelancer by way of like CMML and New Japan. Like it's complicated, but again, to my knowledge, there's no like AEW and MLW working together. So guys, out there in the Twitter world and the wrestling world, stop spreading lies.
Yeah, I mean, and this is not a criticism of anyone. Like, no promotions need to work with other promotions or need to work with every promotion. It's just I hear it from insiders, and then I see it on posts, and the people who post it are oftentimes are idiots, engagement farmers, or whatever, but not all. When I hear it and read it enough, but don't see it, I wonder what's up. And it sounds like somebody made it up, or maybe there was one, or maybe they just have a non-hostility agreement. I don't know, but okay.
The only thing that I can say, if you really want to like go down the speculating route, is that before Rocky Romero decided to sign with AEW to also help them out as well, and he's still with New Japan Pro Wrestling, but like when he came to MLW, like that first little mini, I'm gonna call it a tour. After he got signed with AEW, like he never came back to MLW. So I don't know if people are pulling from that and trying to make it like a straw hat argument where it's like they're so reaching that it could be a possibility. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there as like, maybe that's where they're getting it from.
Could be. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm glad that you have seen or not seen the same thing I have. I mean, there's no point arguing with people on the internet about things. It's wasted effort half the time. Though, like you, I can't resist it all the time. But hoping to resist it more and more. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I mean, Rocky Romero, I would say he's possibly the most dangerous man in wrestling.
Yep, and I'll keep my comments to myself on that one. That is our review. What happened?
He's a survivor wolf in sheep's clothing.
That is our review of MLW Azteca Lucha. Again, ladies and gentlemen, June 7th is when War Chamber is going to drop. I'll be watching it. We're going to end up probably reviewing it again as well. And then June 26th is Summer of the Beast over here at the Melrose Ballroom in Queens, New York. Do not forget to get your tickets. And then, yeah, just support, MLW all the way through and through. So, Dos Evo, let people know where they can find you.
Well, I think throughout the show I've done a few plugs, but you all follow me on the X, Dose_Evil. That's one of my 2X accounts, but it's the only one that if you want wrestling nonsense, that's perfectly good enough. My shows are all under the Garden of Thought. There's 3 different personalities of those shows, like the 3 Faces of Foley, but they're all under the same feed. Sometimes I do the SmackDown review show on Wrestling Soup, like last night. And I do a weekly Evolve show that's on the Wrestling Soup Discord. It's on the Don Reynolds and White Chocolate YouTube channel, and it's on the Wrestling Soup and Friendos, yes, Friendos feed. So a little bit confusing there, but the only and best Evolve podcast, to our knowledge, that exists. It's called A Dose of Chocolate. So if you don't want to watch Evolve but you want to follow along and get some nonsense as well, check that out. We appreciate that support. And I do MLW shows with Marie Shadows. Tonight I'll be on Pro Wrestling Times doing a watch along for Saturday night's main event. And tomorrow night, also on the Wrestling Soup Discord and on the Drew Yari Experience, I will be part of the NXT Battleground review show with Drew Yari. I don't know if his regular co-host Justin is probably not, because he watches AEW and we don't. So So if you want to hear NXT Battleground, I love NXT. Wow, for somebody who said I didn't have any plugs, I've been talking like for 3 minutes. So shut up, Jeff.
It's all good, dude. It's all good. You got to plug in everything. Dose is definitely booked up. So yeah, you can follow, youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast. You could also follow me. Well, you could also sign up to my wrestling newsletter, marieshadows.substack.com, where I tend to now do like the tape study series, which I'm bringing back and breaking down professional wrestling matches. I broke down the Young Bucks with the Good Brothers versus Bullet Club War Dogs. And I think after that is when the Young Bucks blocked me. But I'm not losing sleep. Over it because, man, if you're not going to be changing, it's 2025, you should be changing and adapting as professional wrestlers. But, anyway, I bring back tape study series where I break down professional wrestling matches. If you're interested in that, that's on a Tuesday, Thursday schedule on YouTube, Twitch, and also Substack. If you want to follow me on Twitter at Marie_Shadows, but I haven't logged in since like Thursday. And I'm enjoying being away from Twitter. I've been trying to build everything else that I have. But yeah, any and all links will be down in the description below, and also support whatever Dos Evo does and the Wrestling Soup does. And I have Dr. White Chocolate plug in your stuff in my Discord as well. So like it's all one big happy family. Don't believe what you guys see on Twitter about feuds and all this kind of shit.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, myself and Dos Evo will see you on the next MLW review.
Stay evil, my friends.